Here's something to think about. By 2026, for most people struggling with money, the problem isn't going to be their paycheck. The real issue? 5 silent habits. And the wild part is, these habits don't even feel like mistakes. They feel completely normal.
Yeah, just think about that for a second. We're not talking about some huge financial disaster here. We're talking about small, everyday routines that are just quietly draining your future wealth away. So, let's get into it. Let's break down exactly what they are and why they are so incredibly effective at keeping people stuck.
And this brings us to what I call the normal habit trap. You see, the real danger here is that these habits actually feel responsible. They disguise themselves as freedom or stability or a reward you think you've earned. And that's exactly why millions of us keep doing them without ever stopping to ask where our money is really going.
Okay, so take a look at this. Does that left column, your month, feel a little familiar? The paycheck hits your account, you feel that brief moment of relief, and then, poof, it just vanishes. Bills get paid, you make a few purchases, and you're right back at zero. But now look over at their month. Same income, totally different result. The money gets put to work before it has a chance to disappear. You see, the key difference isn't the income, it's the structure.
So, let's dive deep into these 5 habits. We're going to look at what they are, why wealthy people make it a point to avoid them, and most importantly, what they do instead.
All right, let's start with the big one, the foundation. Habit number 1 is probably the most invisible of them all.
You see, most people don't actually have a money system. What they have is a money reaction. A bill shows up and we react, usually under a bit of stress. We get to the end of the month and we try to save whatever's left over, if there's anything left at all. It just turns into this constant, stressful chaos cycle.
And this slide right here shows the core difference perfectly. A money reaction always has you on the defensive. But a money system, that means your money has a job assigned to it before it even touches your account. This is the whole idea behind paying yourself first, or using a system like the 50-30-20 rule. You tell your money where to go first, to investing, to saving, to bills, and then whatever's left, that's what you can spend. It takes all the emotion out of the equation.
Okay, on to habit number 2. Now this one is a huge psychological trap, and it catches so many people, especially high earners. So we're all taught that getting a bigger salary will solve our money problems, right? But it almost never does. Why? It's because as our income goes up, our lifestyle tends to expand right along with it. We get a better car, a bigger apartment, more subscriptions, and that gap between what we earn and what we spend, it never actually gets any bigger. So here is the absolute key takeaway. Wealth is not the number on your paycheck. It's the money you actually get to keep and put to work. That retained capital is the only thing that can actually compound and build real financial security. Without it, a high income just becomes high pressure.
Let's move on to the 3rd habit. And this one is all about the real cost of just looking the other way. Honestly, avoiding financial education is one of the most expensive habits you can possibly have. When we don't understand how things like credit or investing or even taxes work, we just fall back on our instincts. And when it comes to money, our instincts are usually driven by fear, social pressure, or that need for instant gratification, not logic. And look, this isn't about becoming some kind of Wall Street genius. It's about treating financial knowledge like a survival skill, because that's exactly what it is. Just understanding the basics gives you control. It lets you make informed decisions instead of emotional gambles. And trust me, blind risk is always expensive.
Okay, number 4. This habit feels so good in the moment, which is exactly what makes it so incredibly dangerous.
We're talking about the reward trap. A new phone, a nicer car, another subscription. We tell ourselves these things are rewards for our hard work. And the problem isn't enjoying life. It's that we misclassify what we're buying. These things aren't assets that grow your wealth. They're liabilities that literally take money out of your pocket every single month in payments, maintenance, and fees. So here's a simple question that acts like an incredibly powerful filter. Before you buy something, ask yourself, does this grow my financial position or does it reduce it? That one question cuts right through all the emotion and forces you to see the purchase for what it really is. This filter alone can plug most of the unconscious leaks in your finances.
And that brings us to our 5th and final habit. And this is the one that creates so much anxiety for millions and millions of people.
It's the fragility problem, depending on just one income stream, one job, one paycheck, one boss. To a lot of people, that feels like stability. But in reality, it's a single point of failure.
A layoff, an illness, a shift in the industry, any one of those things can shatter that stability in an instant, and that creates a massive amount of financial and emotional stress.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this reframes the goal. You see, wealthy people don't just build multiple income streams to make more money. They do it to reduce their vulnerability. Every additional stream is like a backup system, a shock absorber for when things go wrong. True stability isn't about how much you make from one place, it's about how many places it comes from.
So you might be asking, if these 5 habits are so destructive, why do so many of us keep doing them? And this is where the real twist comes in. It's because they don't feel destructive. In fact, in the moment, they actually feel good.
Just look at this breakdown. Having no system feels like freedom, right? But the real outcome is chaos and stress. Spending on those rewards feels great, but it leads to a constant financial leak. And depending on one income feels so stable, right up until the moment it isn't. You see, these normal feeling habits create totally abnormal outcomes, just slowly and silently over time. So, here's the thing. Your financial future isn't going to be decided by some big grand plan you make someday. Nope. It's being decided right now by the small patterns you repeat every single day.
I want you to just let that question sink in for a moment. Really think about it. If nothing changes, would you be free? Or would you just be 5 years older, maybe with a slightly bigger paycheck, but carrying a whole lot more stress? Your honest answer to that question reveals everything about where your current path is leading. Because here is the ultimate takeaway. Building wealth isn't just about trying to earn more. It starts by plugging the leaks, by stopping the very habits that are draining your money away. Because when you stop the leaks, the money stays. And when it stays, it finally has a chance to grow.